Hey guys, welcome to the Fandomnauts. We come in peace, and they call me Fando. Today I'm just going to give you my thoughts on a small movie I saw over the weekend called Lightyear, as you may have guessed from the title of this video, which is a spinoff of another small movie you may have already heard of called Toy Story. I wanted to try my hand at doing some movie reviews, as of course I am the Fandomnaut, and obviously that would mean I'm a fan of movies. I just want to give you a little bit about what I liked about the movie, what I didn't like about it, and everything in between. That way you can decide if you want to go check it out for yourself and maybe give some feedback on why I'm right or wrong, mostly right. As a fan of film, TV, comics, anime, etc., I really like the engagement and discussion that comes with these topics, so feel free to leave a comment and, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and I hope this goes without saying, but there's going to be some major spoilers ahead. Buzz Lightyear, who you may recognize from Toy Story, obviously. One thing I really enjoyed about this movie right off the bat is its sort of meta roots and how the movie is set in the world of Toy Story, which is, of course, is a movie in our world. In 1995, Andy saw the movie Lightyear, which is the same movie that of the toy he cherished, so it's based on the movie you see. In this world, or better yet, galaxy of Lightyear, Buzz and what appears to be a small faction of Star Command embark on a mission towards a planet that they unfortunately never get to, as they are stranded on another planet with an aggressive plant life and other life forms. Basically what happens here is that Buzz and the rest of his crew have sustained damage to their ship and have lost the ability to produce hyperspace fuel. Hopefully I have this right so far. Most of the first act is basically their attempt to recreate this hyperspace fuel and test it by having Buzz do test flights in which they discover at the time every time they go out. They have to deal with what you call time dilation. Every time Buzz does a test, about 4 years passes, and eventually 62 years pass on the planet, and a full-fledged colony has formed. During all these test flights, Hawthorne, Buzz's friend, and I think it's the commanding officer, gives Buzz a robotic cat as arguably the best character in the film. Eventually, after 62 years, Buzz once again crash lands back on the planet to meet Izzy Hawthorne, which is Alicia's adult granddaughter, and the rest of her friends. Some antics ensue, and Buzz discovers that Zurg has invaded the planet with a force of robots. Now Buzz, Socks the cat, and the rest of his new friends have to learn to trust each other and overcome Zurg and his robot threat to the colony and get back home. There's a lot more to this, but I'm not here to give you a full synopsis of the movie, and I kind of want to leave room for you to fill in the gaps. Now, to move on to some things that I really enjoyed about this movie, there's a lot to like about it. Some of the obvious things that come to mind and what you expect from every Pixar movie at this point, like visuals and voice acting. Frankly, the animation is top tier, and Chris Evans and the rest of the crew do an amazing job of making me believe. Just an FYI, I'm a big Chris Evans fan, so I'm probably not the most objective person when it comes to him. Captain America Winter Soldier is probably the best Marvel movie I've seen to date, and I will die on that hill till this day. That being said, he does really well with what he has, and the rest of the crew fits perfectly with great chemistry. I think so, at least. I also really like the sci-fi premise that the movie is founded on. It's not something you see much anymore in kids' movies, I don't think. And let's face it, the movie is for kids ultimately, but I think that the whole time dilation thing is a unique thing to center the entire story around, and I really like that they took that risk. The movie uses its premise to deliver on the heart and comedy that you would expect from Pixar at times. The last thing I really like is, Socks. Socks is the robot cat given to Buzz as a gift by Hawthorne, the original Hawthorne, and he's really a bright spot in the movie. I would say Socks carries about 70% of the comedy in the film, and that's a scientifically accurate number, I just want to say, and he's really integral to the plot. Without Socks, I really fear that the movie may not have been well received to a lot of the audience, which is actually saying something about this movie. Again, there's some good action in the movie as well. I do like the interactions between all the characters for what the story is. There's a lot of interactions between, I guess you would say, Future Hawthorne or Alicia's granddaughter. Wait, I forget which one Alicia is and which one is Izzy. I think Izzy is the granddaughter. There's a lot of interaction between her friends, Buzz, Socks, and it just fits really well within this universe. And I just want to see more movies with these characters because they do come off as likable, and I'm not gonna lie, they really look like they care about each other when you watch the movie. Well, now to move on to the things I didn't like, which I'm not gonna lie, I did find more wrong with this movie than I did with a lot of the other movies, which is unusual for me. That being said, we're talking about Pixar standards here, which is a high bar, and Lightyear is far from a bad movie, but there are some critiques I did want to address. The number one issue that I had with this movie, and again, this is a spoiler review, was the plot twist with the villain. If you've seen the movie, you know that Zurg is actually an older version of Buzz from a different timeline where the hyperspace field worked. This version of Buzz is much older and has traveled so far into the future that he finds an alien ship with more advanced technology, and somehow he came up with the idea to travel back in time, take the hyperspace fuel from the current Buzz, travel back before they ever crash landed, and continue the original mission, if I got that right. I really do not like this plot twist because it seems like it's really unnecessary, and if I'm honest, I kind of want the true Zurg for Buzz to overcome. I don't know about you, but I'm old enough to remember the Zurg from the old Buzz Lightyear TV show, which I assume is non-canon now, and I was actually interested in seeing a fully realized Zurg from Pixar. It also kind of felt like Zurg was an afterthought of a villain, since you really don't get to spend much time with them. So when he's finally defeated, there isn't really much of an emotional impact, at least for me. I was kind of disappointed with that plot twist. It just seemed really generic for the most part, and there could have been several other ways to approach this and, end the story. As a caveat though, they never really show you what happens to Old Man Buzz on that alien ship, so there's still possibility that Zurg exists in some form out there somewhere and could maybe show up in the sequels. I guess when it comes to the writing, I've just come to expect better from Pixar, and it seemed like there was something about it that was more out of a B movie with that plot twist. Speaking of B movies, I would say that overall, as enjoyable as most of this movie is, I would put it on the lower tier of Pixar movie, which is once again a very high bar. I want to reassure you that this movie is very quality as far as like production and visuals and whatnot, but the core story, it almost seemed rushed and not as meaningful as I've come to expect from Pixar when you compare it to the movies like Luca and Soul and Coco, just to name a few. I honestly could see this movie being released on Disney Plus, which is, again, I'm not trying to say it's a bad movie. It's just, it seemed there was something about it. I can't put my hand on it that was lacking. One thing I actually wanted to see more of was Star Command itself and how that would tie into the events of this film, but I'm assuming they're saving that for the sequels, just like the True Zurg possibly. I wanted to see more of the backstory and the larger Star Command that ties into this film. It almost felt like this movie was more of a one-off side plot at times for the real story to come that's probably grander and more fleshed out. It seemed like there could have been more of everything in all categories except maybe the visuals and action. There are still cool scenes, like the first time Buzz opens his wings out of his backpack for the first time, and you see that and you're like, oh man, I recognize that from the Toy Story movies. And speaking of, I did want more of a connection from the Toy Story movie. To the Toy Story movies, and I'm not really sure what I'm expecting there, but there was like an intro, I guess panel, or that did try to tie it in, but It's interesting because the premise is this is a movie within the movie. It is interesting to see how Buzz, or the actor that played Buzz, would have tied into the Toy Story universe. And again, I didn't get the chance to see the post credit scenes. I actually left before I got a chance to see him. I wasn't aware of them, but I would have liked to see more of that connection. That would have been a really cool thing to see, and I wanted to see why that was important to the context of this movie, because it didn't really seem like it was, at least from what I've gathered. Overall, though, I did enjoy this movie. It was frankly a good time in the theaters. Sure, there could have been more things they could have got right, and maybe a little bit more development time in pre-production, or just maybe even the decision making could have been done better. But hey, it's still a fun Pixar movie, and I'm really excited for sequels to come. I want to see what they do. Maybe they'll learn the lessons from what the shortfalls of this movie was. But hey, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this review, and trust me, there are many more to come. Give me some feedback in the comments below with your thoughts and even theories about the movie, maybe. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Fandomnaut, or Fando as they call me, and I'm signing off. Have a great day.